Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr. It's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. And I'm just checking in on you, seeing how your week's going as you're slogging your way through your cubicle life. Something you never wanted, but who are you going to blame? Huh? Are you going to blame society like all of these people on social networks? Is it ever their fault? Anyways, I have a special guest. As promised on the Monday morning podcast, I said, God damn it, and I delivered. We have the amazing, the unbelievably talented and hilarious Bill Hader, star of the new incredible show on HBO, Barry, starring Henry Winkler, Stephen Root. Where's my cheat sheet? Who's the woman who plays your girlfriend? She crushes it.
Sarah Goldberg.
Oh, my God, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's amazing. And it's 8 incredible episodes.
Thank you.
I saw the first 2. And then my link expired, and then I couldn't get it to play. I got a new link, and then I melted down, and my wife said, "You're bringing tension into the house." So that's been my experience so far. But having said that, I absolutely loved the first 2 that I saw, and there's another the other actor there with the alopecia there, Anthony.
Oh yeah, Anthony Carrigan.
Oh my God, NoHo Hank.
Mm-hmm.
Great name, incredible actor. So I was actually, just to give people a background, I was going to interview all of you guys at the now defunct Nerd Melt.
Yeah, that's going
because of that incident, I believe.
Yeah, because what happened to me.
Yeah. So you were supposed to come down there with Henry, Stephen, and the other guys, and you have a peanut allergy.
I have a nut allergy, and they gave me. Well, here's the thing. It's my own. I blame myself. So I can have almonds. I'm okay with almonds, but all of the nuts I'm bad with. So I go, I'll have coffee, and I go, oh, can I have almond milk in it? And they
so
gave
it's
me
almost like
almond
you're
milk.
like a racist, but with just like nuts, right?
Just nuts.
Those are the. You stay with your own. You stay with the almonds. All these other ones, get them out of my house. All right. I get it. You're a peanut supremacist. I've never heard of that. I thought if you had like a peanut allergy,
no, that was it.
it.
No, I found that out on a movie. I had something. Whoa, that has almonds in it, and I had it, and I go, I'm fine. And then I went home and I had an EpiPen and sat there with almonds and ate it, and nothing.
What is
happened.
an EpiPen?
That's what you take in case you have a.
You're doing a stabbing motion into your leg.
Yeah, I do a stabbing motion into your leg. Yeah, You stab yourself with the EpiPen. So
and it takes what, like your blood pressure?
It shoots you full of adrenaline basically, and then you're able to breathe. It gives a big shot of the.
So when you drank this, so you were supposed to come in, and all of a sudden somebody basically gave the equivalent to you of a cup of poison.
They gave me almond milk, but it was this fancy coffee place, and they were like, "Well, we have an almond cashew blend that comes in. I can't have cashews."
Oh.
So I had that, and I took a drink of it backstage, excited about to go on, and I went, "I gotta go."
Like how quick, when you drink that, how quick do you know? Is it like getting bit by a cobra?
Yeah.
Like you just know. You're like, all right, that wasn't good. I need the antidote.
Yeah, you don't get bit by a cobra and go, I'm going to wait.
I can do this
20
podcast.
minutes. I could do the podcast. I'm fine. My leg's all black and blue, and I can't really feel my feet anymore. And but I'm fine.
It was just one fang.
Yeah, I'm fine. And my dad, the biggest bummer is my dad is a giant fan here, so my dad was really excited and he flew in because we had the premiere, and so he wanted to see it. And I go, I gotta go. And he was like, what?
Oh, no.
And he's like, you're fine. He goes, you're fine.
Shake it off.
And I go, no. And he's like, you're fine. I go, what? I want to see Bill Burr. And I'm like, well, I gotta go. You can stay here, go. And he's like, I'll go. Let's get you some Benadryl and all that stuff.
Okay, so what happens? Is your throat closes up?
Yeah, and so someone ran out and got me Benadryl, and that was fine. And then I got home, did the EpiPen.
How bad is, like, how much are you laboring breathing? I mean, you like.
Oh, I'm breathing fine. It's just it was in my mouth for only a couple of seconds, and then I spit it out, but it was enough to make everything start to it's like hives inside your mouth and in your throat.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it was awful.
So then when you take the Benadryl, how long does it take?
It chills that out, and then you get groggy, and then I did the EpiPen, which then makes you all jacked up, and then I went and did the premiere, and yeah.
Oh, so you were able to work then that night?
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, it was like HBO was like, we need you.
Yeah. So do you when you travel, do you have those things with you?
Mm-hmm. I have my backpack out right there. Yeah, and that's the whole reason.
Could I buy one of those?
Yeah, you can go.
You
yeah,
can
you
just
get
buy it.
We got to get prescription.
Oh,
you got to get
okay.
prescription for it. Yeah.
Because I was going to do that for like the writer's room on F is the Family. You know, when you just get like burned out, like I can't think of any more funny
I'll
shit.
do an EpiPen.
And then just stab yourself.
Yeah, let's just do EpiPens. Yeah. Well, no, it's like this dumb thing though. When you do it, everyone thinks it's just more the motion of it looks more severe than it actually is. It's just like a little pinprick, but it's like buried into this.
Do you go through your pants?
No, you gotta pull your pants down and go right on your leg, and then. But
so you stab it and then you push the thing down? You
push the thing down at the same time, yeah.
You can't tell me you don't feel a little bit like John Rambo when you do that.
Yeah, no, you totally do, yeah.
Like you're stitching yourself up. That's awesome.
But I'm such a wimp that I'm, oh god.
Well, I want you to know, you not being there really threw me off my game because I've never hosted one of those before, so it was an honor that I got to do it. And one of my goals was like, I was just like, I am not asking Henry Winkler about playing Arthur Fonzarelli.
Right.
If I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna talk about Night Shift.
I left you with nothing.
And then by the end, I was just like, they were helping me through the interview, and then somehow I just said, I go, I'm running out of stuff, but my goal is I'm not bringing up who. And then he just broke into the character, just saying like, that character made me a lot of money and put my kid through college. I can't do the fonts, but I was all excited, like, oh my god, he did the fonts.
Oh, when he does it, it's like Mickey Mouse showing. John Mulaney said it's like Mickey Mouse showing up or something. It's like a thing I grew up. I'm like, oh, that's television. That's
incredible.
And he said it to Alec Berg and I once, and Alec co-created Barry. He's not a very effusive guy, and he was standing behind me, and Henry told this story where
Does that mean not emotional?
Yeah, he's
I'm not
Swedish.
smart, neither am I.
He's
Swedish.
He's Swedish,
Okay.
He's like, huh.
Yeah, I've done stand up. I've done stand up through the whole that whole region up there. Finland was the funniest one.
Why?
They were just sitting there. They were trying to solve the problem of the joke. Like I would sit there and I'm doing the joke, and it was just quiet and quiet and quiet. And then if somebody's just finally goes, "Why didn't you just blah 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 blah?" And I was just like, "Is that what you guys are doing?" I go, "You don't need to solve these. This isn't like a self-help thing. This is just
Why
absurd.
don't you just kick your wife out of the house?"
Yes. Bury her in the backyard and say she went to her mother's.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah. So that was Finland, though. But I definitely noticed there was a huge difference. Was it the Baltic Sea?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Norway and Sweden is a certain level of emotionally disconnected. And then when you go to over there, where they're spooning with Russia, and they actually defeated Russia and had to give up part of their land because they paired up with Hitler. I mean, that was
Finland,
they were between the two craziest people
and
last century. It's like
they went to the crazier one, who lost.
Yeah.
Don't ever go to the
I don't know if
crazier
they
one.
went to the crazier one. They were equals. They were peers.
Yeah, they were.
Like if there was a way that they both could have won the war and lived, I guess the other guy lived, right? Stalin lived. I don't know shit about history. Like they could sit back, like old NBA players.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when Wilt and Bill Russell get together, they could be talking about murdering people.
Yeah, and their knees are bad. They can't really walk around much.
They're exaggerating their stats.
They're just. But no, it was this. Yeah, no, Alec he's hilarious. I mean, he wrote on Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's a very funny guy, but he's very kind of quiet. And Henry did the Fonz. He just told a story, and I said, oh, I had to tell all these people, because Henry in life is very kind of, hello, how are you? Oh,
that's what makes
nice.
When you meet him or you see him just talking, that's what makes it even more incredible. It's like that guy came out of this guy.
Yeah, he's like, I was on the phone in my car, hands-free. And I'm like, okay, being safe. And then, then he'll be like, oh, the Fonz would say, hey, part like the Red Sea. He would do something. And Alec was behind me and he went, oh my God. It's the most.
Yeah.
He just went, I can't believe. It was the most effusive I've ever seen Alec. He just went, I can't believe that. It gave us chills, you know.
Well, because it like you said, when you talk to the guy, it's nowhere. It's like Mel Blanc. When Mel Blanc would do voices, like you'd be like, there's no way this guy does Bugs Bunny or he does Yosemite Sam. Like you couldn't hear him in any of it. And I feel like with him, when he's just talking, it's just like, this can't be the guy that played that guy. And all of a sudden he does the voice. This is hilarious. Now I'm going to sit here talking about him being the Fonz for this.
But I'm sorry I left you with nothing, though, because I left and then you were stuck with that.
It sounds to me like you blew off the interview, and I'm not buying this whole stabbing yourself. Then somehow you made the premiere. It was a premiere. There was supermodels there.
No, there was no fucking.
You weren't going to the Nerd Melt to talk on some jackass's podcast. I get it.
There was no supermodels at an HBO premiere for Barry. No, it was all like cast and crew.
How about some Hooters chicks? They weren't down there?
Well, they were working there. No, but they had me. No, there was a thing where it was one of those things where you leave and then HBO's going, oh my god, you know, the thing is, it's his show. You gotta be there. What do we gotta? Can we send a doctor over there? Can we do anything? What can we do? And
they're going old school, sending 8 balls.
Yeah. It's like, this is Dr. Feelgood, you know.
Yeah.
Here's my magic briefcase. All right. You're going to be up in no time, buddy.
Well, everybody I know that has been watching it has just been like, you know what I love about it, and what I wanted to talk to you about is I love when somebody that's known for doing comedy gets to do some drama stuff, because for some reason they think that, I don't know who the comedian was that screwed it up for the rest of us. I want to know who that person was, and also who the person was that up so bad that we all actors now have to get there like 9 hours before you're going to get called. You just sit there with the fake mustache glued on your face. It's just like, who up? Who? Fatty Arbuckle? Who was it?
Fatty Arbuckle just was always was 20 minutes, 30 hours late.
30 hours late, so now they got to bring you in.
We got to get the Arbuckle rule. I want all these assholes here now at 7 a.m.
My worst one ever, I got called. I went to a set at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't utter a word until 1 in the morning.
Oh, I've done that where I got called on I remember Tropic Thunder. There was this huge party scene. And it was just one of those things where I just learned that it's all communication, where Ben Stiller's directing, and Ben, I think he kept saying Rob. My character's name is Rob, but there's also an actor named Rob. And he was like, Rob should be in there, right? You know? And the first AD went, oh, Bill's not working today. So they would wake me up.
Oh, no.
Call me in, to call me in. I would go in at 2 in the morning. This is out in wherever we were shooting, like Hawaii or something. They'd go in, put me in makeup, and I would just sit in my trailer. And then finally I get tired, you know, kind of like, what am I doing, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not in the scene. And so I would go to set, and Ben would go, and then 2 days later, hey, we need you to come in. What's going on? And I go, what are you doing here? And he goes, no, Rob, the actor, Rob. Not. You know? And I showed up twice. Oh, it was terrible.
You know what's funny? Waiting in those trailers, I actually understood my dog more. Like,
yeah.
I was just thinking, why does this thing sleep all the time? And it's basically, if you have nothing to do, it goes back to survival, where it's like, we're going to shut down your body and just store up this energy. So, like, the level of tired you get. But
how does my dog know every episode of the Tyra Banks show? Because that seems to be the only thing on television.
Or you go to the trailers. I've never had the TV work. It's always like, they got a flat screen TV in here, and it never works. It's just some, like, whatever signal. You just hear the other actor next to you clearing their throat every couple of hours. Yeah.
On the phone with their agent.
I'm not going to do that. They want me to do this. I'm not going to do it.
Well, let's promote it a little bit here, because as far as, like, it's on HBO. Okay, the final episode is this Sunday.
Yeah.
There's 8 of them, and if people want to go back and watch all of them, I imagine in 2018 HBO has a way to
I was
stream
thinking,
it.
HBO Go. If you have that, you can go check it out. And
All
I think Amazon, Hulu, those places.
Well, I'm old school in that I like to watch an episode. I like the old way, where you watched it and then you had to wait a week for it to come out, and then another one went and I don't know, all the shows that I watch, you try to guess what was going to happen. And now, like, there's all these great shows.
They just dump it all on
and people just sit down. It's like the greatest bottle of wine ever, and you like shotgun it. You just, wow, it was amazing. And then like, what else can I have now? And I also I feel for like the amount of work that was put into this, because that's what happens with cartoon I'm doing, which just I actually did a cartoon because of those getting called at 4 p.m, not working till when. I'm like, dude, this live action shit. I'm going to do a cartoon where I just show up in a baseball hat and sweatpants, and I didn't realize that it was like 90 times slower. And then the thing comes out, and people will watch it all in one night. That's great. When's the next season coming out? It's just like you can't.
Well, it might as well just be a movie. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, put it in the theater. I don't know, but I like it that you do this, and then for 8 weeks, people are talking about. There's like the high intensity level of excitement.
Yeah, and you try to guess
like,
where it's going to
go. I have no idea where this is going to go. Yeah, and it's fun having people come up to me, at my kid's school or whatever, going, "Hey, this is what's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Is so-and-so going to kill you?
Yeah.
Are you going to kill
One
this
guy came up and he was like, Stephen Root, he's a figment of his imagination, right? Yeah. He's not real. Well, yeah, you might be right. I got you figured out, asshole. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I used to watch Lost. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, it's all figments of some mouse's imagination, right?
Yeah, it's all a figment to get 8 seasons or whatever the hell it is. But anyway, you know something? I actually something I want to bring up before I forget is that that you're from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was telling you earlier that is one of my favorite cities to perform stand-up in. They got the Brady Theater there, which evidently some ridiculous race riot happened.
Really?
I guess so. I mean, I walk in there as a white guy. I'm like, oh, this has a nice vibe. This feels like really great.
Why is this so comfortable?
Yeah, and it's and then they got all this great food, because all these people who'd never been there. When I told them I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and everybody's like, oh, Jesus Christ, what do you go ride a bull out there, like
go cowtown?
And they don't understand like how like. The food there is incredible.
Yeah.
Massive amounts of hipsters. It's the exact opposite thing that you would picture, but that old theater there.
Yeah, I saw George Carlin there once, I remember. That was the first comedy show I ever saw. Like,
what year did you see him?
I don't remember. I was young. I remember my dad. It was a thing where I had to get snuck into the thing, but my dad, God, I don't remember. It had to be in the 80s sometime.
I saw him in the 80s too.
Yeah, and I remember seeing him and just my face hurting from laughing, and just and not knowing that he did like 2 hours, or I don't know what it was. It was just super long, but to me, I was like, oh, keep going, and just leaving on this high and just going, wow, that was unreal.
Did that have an effect that you like at that point? Did you already know you wanted to get into comedy, or
no? I mean, to me, that just seemed like I mean, I was someone I still have, I'm very anxious having to get up in front of people. And so the idea of going up there alone and telling jokes and how quick he was, but I loved watching stand up. My dad's a giant fan of stand up. Mm-hmm. And so, and in the 80s and that, every TV, you had the A&E, even at the Improv, the MTV half-hour comedy hour.
I watched all of those 100 times.
I would watch those. I saw those. I mean, I would run into like Jeff Garland and be like, "Do you remember you used to do the thing with Adam West? Adam West ordering a bagel and he gets hit with a
half-hour comedy hour, MTV."
Yeah, and he went, "What? How did you know?" And then when I met Judd Apatow for the first time, I go, "You used to do a bit about your nose, being stuffed up and how it switches, you get congested in one nostril and goes in a nostril." And I remember that. Yeah. But
that's usually, that can freak people out. I forget the name of the comedian, but he had this great bit. He was talking about, I ran into the guy, I don't even remember his name, but it was one of my favorite bits that I saw from one of those evenings at the Improvs, and he was talking about how he was the youngest kid in this big family and how strict the parents were with the older kids. And by the time it got down to him, it was, it was basically the only rule was no heroin in the living room. And then one of my favorite tags of all time, it was just like, Brian, you're not using one of the good spoons. And that was just like, for a clean joke and all that. I really loved it. I got to actually run into him and tell him. And I remember just talking to that guy and him just looking at me like, how the is this kid?
Oh, my God. Remember Bob Nelson? That guy? There was a guy, Bob Nelson, would do all crazy. And then
I saw him open for Rodney Dangerfield.
Really?
Right after Back to School came out. Dude, that summer at Great Woods.
Yeah.
In Mansfield, Massachusetts, I saw Rodney Dangerfield, and then a few weeks later, I saw Eddie Murphy on the Raw tour.
Whoa!
And the Weather Girls
that's
opened
insane.
up. Weather Girls opened up. They sing "It's Raining Men."
Yeah.
And they were big girls. And I remember he came out and was doing all these jokes about, I got to check out the stage because the Weather Girls stage. Back when you could fat shame people, and he had like the purple suit on and all of that stuff.
Did he always close with his dad eating Tinker Toys and the food the toy thing? Remember that?
I don't remember what he closed.
Eddie, we would eat our Tinker Toys, Eddie. That whole thing that he would do because that was a thing seeing Raw, which now you watch Raw and you're like, geez, there's some stuff you can do now on that show. But
but that's not fair to him.
I know, but
like
it's just
30
like
years
it was
ago.
30 years ago. But you go like, at SNL, you would watch something. Oh, you guys got to watch Raw, and then they would come back and go, "Why did you find that funny? It was so offensive and everything." And go, "Wow, what about the thing at the end?" I would just try to concentrate on the thing I found.
Oh no!
really
When
funny,
I watched that thing, it makes me sad that he stopped because he was 25 years old. And when he was talking about, the level of success he got to and thinking about getting married and seeing Johnny Carson getting divorced and all of that stuff and saying, women get half, that's bullshit. Women get half, and then woman goes, that's right. And he goes, nah, that's bullshit. And it was like he was going to that next level where it's like, oh, now this guy is going to, start saying what he thinks about all this stuff. Because, the Delirious was amazing.
Yeah.
But it was, Ralph Cramden with
Gooly Goo Goo and
all that stuff, and then all of a sudden he was like, you seeing this guy finding his voice, and then who knew that I would go see him, and that was actually like the farewell tour.
Yeah, well, I think when he did that, the thing at the end of Raw was the thing I saw, when I was young, and it went, wow, he's just by himself. He might as well be by himself in his room. You know what I mean? It was like he went into this other place. It wasn't like jokes. You know what I mean? It was like
he's talking.
He's just talking, and he just went to this place, and it's the thing. Like, I'm never as funny. The funniest I'll ever be is in the lunchroom with my friends, and they were all funnier than me. You know what I mean?
Oh, everybody went to high school was funnier than I was.
Way funnier than me, and I'll see those guys, and they'll send me a text about. One of my friends hated 3 Billboards, that movie, and his text made me laugh harder than anything that I've read, any comedian I know. All I do is hang around with comedy people, and I'm like, what? He works at a window store in Oklahoma someplace, but he's so funny.
Or just how they live their life. I got a buddy of mine, Joe DeRosa, was opening for me, and, it was after the show we did in Boston. I got all my Boston friends, hanging out or whatever, and one of my buddies offered to buy a round of drinks. We're all ordering drinks, and my buddy Joe ordered a White Russian, and my friend was just done with him. And he came up to me, he goes, dude, what's up with your boy? I go, what's the matter? He goes, he just ordered a White Russian. And I didn't really think about it. I was like, he drinks White Russians. He likes, whatever that movie with the dude. He likes
Big Lebowski.
Yeah, he's a Big Lebowski. I didn't think of anything about it. And then at the end of the night, I'm walking back with Joe, and he's just like, like hanging out with friends. He goes, yeah, that's cool. He's like, dude, one of your friends was, he was like really friendly, and he was like talking to me. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just stopped talking to me. And it was just like, and it was all based on the fact that he ordered a White Russian. And we were well into our 30s, like late 30s, and this guy still, to this day, and I remember a long time ago. I just
don't trust that guy. I don't know anybody like that.
I remember a long time ago, he, for some reason, was giving the responsibility to watch the house of this married couple. And, of course, so he immediately has us all over there. And we're getting hammered. And he's taking care of the house. We went down into the basement, and there was some sort of faucet nozzle or something you had to turn on or off. And the lady left a Post-it note on it saying, you might have to turn it a little harder. My husband said it's a little fussy. And my buddy just went up and just immediately turned it with no problem at all. And he just mutters, this guy's a... And we're in his house. And he just said that to his wife, just being, gentlemanly, to a woman. And then my friend just totally judged this guy that he was not a man. Like his man, like that's what I love about my friends back there. How easily you can lose your man card and you have no idea. And they won't even tell you why. They just stop talking to you.
Oh, it's the worst. When my friends, they visited the set of Barry, and I'm doing all these things or whatever, and I have an assistant.
It's over.
She walked over. Here's your coffee. What, man? You can't get your own coffees now? What
do you think?
The machine's right there, dude. Just go over and get your own goddamn coffee, Bill. And I'm like, well, I'm focusing on. I don't give a shit. You go over. Why are you making her get your? And I'm like, no, you're right. You're right. I should be. The machine's right there. I don't know. You're right. You know what I mean? I just feel like an asshole. And then I'm like, why did I invite you here to, make me feel bad? And then, hey, man, did you try the dessert? I'm trying not to eat anything bad because, the guys in the military are like, oh, you, man.
Oh, yeah. No.
Just like, oh, you're dieting now? And I'm like, they just keep you real.
I just go back harder at them.
I can't say
I'm really trying to work on my man tits like you have. And that's the only way to keep them off you. Dude, I had another friend, the exact same party. He was telling this story. He's going, where are you staying? I told him the hotel I was staying at, and he was a construction guy. He goes, oh, I worked on that. He goes, crazy story. We were putting a flagpole or something up. And he goes, the cable broke. This guy was underneath directing. The cable broke and just came slamming down on this guy.
Oh, jeez.
And I go, Jesus Christ. I go, did he die? And he goes, did he die? He was in pieces. And I go, well, what happened? He goes, oh, guys were puking. Some people jumped in their truck and drove away. And they go, oh, his dad was there. He had a heart attack. So we're all just sitting there like dead silence. And then he just out of nowhere, he goes, kid was kind of a douche. And then he goes, his dad was a good shit. And that actually broke the tension and everybody started laughing. And I just remember thinking, like, you couldn't teach somebody in an acting class how to take somebody to such a dark place.
Yeah.
And he sensed it. He sensed that a laugh needed to come, and he knew exactly where to go.
Yeah, he had intuition. As my friend... I used to be a PA. I was a production assistant for a long time, and I worked on this movie, James Dean, and An Invented Life. James Franco played James Dean. Mm-hmm. And this guy, Jason Altieri, who's now a big first AD now, but he was a PA, and again, what we're talking about, he had a real, like, Rambo knife. Mm-hmm. Like, he got it from the props truck, and he's just taking chunks out of this tree with it. And he's just hitting this tree with this giant knife. Okay. And we're all kind of sitting there whining. He's just bullshitting with us, but he's like, look at this thing. Wow, look, it's like an axe.
Tree standing there like, ow.
And this other guy, Bill Hardy, this big guy walking over, and he's another PA smoking, saying, hey, guys. And Jason... He's weird. This kid, he pretends like he's gonna stab him. He just goes, hey. And he goes, hey, it's not funny. Don't do that. You know, don't do that. That's not cool. Don't do that. Jason goes, So Bill walks away. The props guy comes over and goes, I have that same knife, but it's the exact same knife, but it's retractable. It's plastic. It's fake. He goes, get it to me. So he takes it, and he does the best piece of acting I've ever seen. Just totally calm, pretending to, cut at the tree, do everything, just waiting for Bill to come back. Bill walks back. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? And he does the thing again. Bill, and then he just rears back and stabs him in the chest.
Oh, God.
And Bill goes, why?
Oh, no.
He just screamed. His reaction was, why? Like, you just murdered me.
His whole
And then
life flashed.
He
in
just
front of
went.
him.
He legitimately was like, my friend just murdered me, and we fell down laughing. And we felt bad, and I've told that story to other people, and I go, "That's horrible. That's not nice at all." And I go, "I know, but if you were there, it was the funniest thing I think I'd ever seen." And
Because you literally got to see what would your friend do if
what would he
died?
do if he died? He would say, "Why?"
If he got murdered.
But then Jason, to your point, the reason I thought of it was that he was such a good actor. He was just like, you couldn't have taught, like anybody else, I think you would have get it and they would want to run over to him and go, "Hey, look in the knife." And then, you know what I mean?
That's what
But
I would
he
have. I
had-
would have taken the knife and walked up to him.
and done it.
But
you
he
know,
had
or
the
something.
patience.
He had the patience to keep, like, no, I have to keep this lie up where he was pretending to do that. And we sat there waiting for him for like 15 minutes. And then he kind of would meander back, like, no, we can't call him over. We can't do this. You
Oh,
know?
I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face. I'm the worst. Hey, when you watch somebody do something like that, as an actor, do you get something out of that? Watching a guy like that?
Yeah. You kind of go, oh, wow, the patience, or so much of it too is just kind of impersonating people, or, you know, or doing nothing. That was the thing he did that was good, was he didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? He just was doing what he did before, and he kind of instinctively knew, like, well, that's the best way to do this.
That's the best
You
way
know?
to set the trap, is make it look like nothing.
Nothing happened. Instead of, I would have gone over there or been, "Hey, Bill, come back," or whatever.
Are those some of
didn't do nothing.
your favorite actors? Are you a character actor guy, as far as like the guys that you watch? Because your acting on the series is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
I kept calling my wife in, going, "Look, this is like the best." I'm telling you, it's like the best work I've seen, and I love all the stuff that you've done.
Oh, thank
but
you.
like this, to actually, I love it when they give a funny guy a chance to show that, hey, I can do these other things too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just curious. Now that I see that you have that in the toolbox, like, who are some of your favorite actors?
Well, I mean, I had a tape that, this is kind of everybody, but I had a VHS tape that had Taxi Driver and Raging Bull on it, and I would just watch those a bunch and just watch Robert De Niro in those movies. He just does, it's kind of what we're talking about. He doesn't do much, but he did enough, you know? It was like the way it was behavior. But to be honest, like, I like a lot, you know, I like a lot of actors, but I was always more excited by the story. I would watch a movie for a story, but to me, it's more about observing behavior of people. You know, you watch like a documentary, or I would watch a guy like Jason Altieri do that thing or whatever, but it was the actors who could modulate behavior instead of pushing and making it like a performance, you know?
Right.
There's a movie called Kess. It's this British movie from the late 60s, and there's this non-actor, this kid in it, who's phenomenal, and it just is because it's all just very genuine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, it's time for a little bit of advertising. Oh, look who's back. It's old Zip Recruiter. Talk about the challenges of finding great talent and how the way you went about it just did not work or was inefficient. You know, I tried to dig down deep into myself to try to be a good comedian, and it turned out all I had was a bunch of shit and down there, and it was really tough. And then I used ZipRecruiter, and all of a sudden, you know, I started talking about and my comedy went to. I don't hire people, but I know this app. This is this an app? This product? This service? Let's go with that. I know it works. ZipRecruiter knew there was a smarter way, so they built a platform that finds the right job candidates for you. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employees who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And Zip doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. Zip Recruiter is how you find them. Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. Right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter. That's right. They can use it for free. You can try it for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Burr. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Burr. One more time. Hi! Zip! The smartest way to hire. Look who's here. Me-undies, me-undies. I'm sitting in my car. Me-undies, me-undies. I'm driving out to a bar. I'm gonna get hammered at the bar. Take a piss in my soft underwear. My balls will feel great, and undies will dry it up. You don't need no more adult diapers. MeUndies are made with a sustainably sourced material from beechwood trees. They're made out of trees, man. Their naturally soft fiber makes a fabric that won't sag down or ride up. Trust me, once you got a pair on, you'll get it. And if you're already part of the MeUndies family, tell your friends about it through their referral program. It's like Amway, but with panties. They get a discount and you'll get a store credit. It's a win-win. MeUndies is sure you'll love their first pair. Is so sure you'll love their first pair that if you're not happy, they'll do whatever they can to get you the right pair. And if they can't, keep them and they'll refund you. So it's really risk-free. Free to try the best underwear ever. Still not sure? Well, MeUndies has a deal for my listeners. First-time purchasers get 20% off their first pair of MeUndies and free shipping. Get your ass over to MeUndies.com and treat yourself to get 20% off your first pair and free shipping and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to MeUndies.com/Burr. That's MeUndies.com/Burr. Unbelievable how hot your car gets the second you shut it off and keep the windows and doors shut. Oh, look who's here. Honey! When you shop online, do you suddenly turn into a tab hoarder, loading dozens and dozens of new tabs on your browser in search of a promo code? Just one that works. Afraid to close any of them in fear of missing out on a deal? Before you crash your browser yet again, try Honey! Honey! It's the free browser add-on that over 9 million people are using every day to save money while they shop online. In 2 clicks, add Honey to any browser for free, then shop like you normally do. Honey scans and tests millions of coupons in the background, and check out Honey automatically applies the best coupon. Honey never means honey. It never does. Time magazine calls Honey basically free money. Over 9 million people have used Honey every day. And together, they've saved millions of dollars. There's no reason not to add Honey to your browser today. I'm running out of ways to say it. It's free. Just takes 2 clicks to install and will save you tons of money. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Burr. That's 2 words. Join Honey. .com/Burr to start saving with Honey today. That's joinhoney.com/Burr. All right, there's people next door working on the house. They think I'm crazy. All right, Helix, everybody. Helix. There's nobody on the planet like you, so why would you buy a mattress built for everyone else? Next, please mention all the talking points below. Well, I'm gonna. You wrote it. I'm gonna read it. Working with the world's leading sleep experts, Helix Sleep developed a mattress that's customized to your specific height, weight, and sleep preferences so you can get the best goddamn sleep of your life at an unbelievable price. Here's how it works. Go to helixsleep.com. Fill out their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll design your custom mattress. They can even customize each side for you and your partner. In 2018, Helix Sleep has taken customized sleep to the next level with their Helix Pillow. The all-new pillows are fully adjustable so you can achieve perfect comfort regardless of sleep position or body type. Do you want to kill your wife? They got a pillow for that too. Helix Sleep has that's just a joke. Helix Sleep does not condone any violence towards your spouse. Helix Sleep has thousands of 5-star reviews. Plus, you get 100 nights to try them out. Tell them which hand you jerk off with. They'll have a little elbow indentation on that side of the mattress. Go to helixsleep.com/Burr right now, and you'll get up to $125 towards your new mattress. That's helixsleep.com/Burr for up to $125 off your mattress. helixsleep.com/Burr. HELIX. Sleep. actors when they'll, well, I'm playing a new guy, so the guy can't walk like me, and they'll come up with like a walk.
Yeah.
I don't know, those DeRosa to bring him up again. He was talking about John Travolta one time. He saw him, and John Travolta was like, well, Vinnie Barbarino walked like this, Vincent Vega walked like this, and it's just like, dude, he does the walks. Yeah. And I was thinking of the little acting that I've done. It's like every character I've done walks like me. They always have to rewrite it. He's a serial killer from Boston.
He's
a Hawaiian guy from Boston. Yeah.
He's a cowboy from Boston.
Yeah. I did one where they couldn't justify why I wasn't from the Midwest, so they said he went to college in Boston and he picked up the accent. But for some reason he came back here and he didn't go back to the accent that he used for 18 years.
He was raised by some assholes from Boston. But in the Midwest.
He watches a lot of reality TV, and there's always the loud Boston guy. So
he likes watching interviews with Mark Wahlberg and yeah.
But he doesn't have an accent. In
Mark Wahlberg, no.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at how.
Yeah. You forget that he can knock that out somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've watched some, like I started out with Patrice O'Neill and Dane Cook, and I saw like an old Dane Cook stand-up thing in the last couple of years. I saw it, and in like the mid '90s, he had a really big-time Boston accent.
Oh, really?
And now he doesn't.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know how. I think you're either one of those people, like, you just sort of, like, if you get somewhere new, you just sort of, it just floats away.
Yeah.
Or it's just stuck in you. I think I'm sort of, I mean, I don't have like
or
a
you
severe
work
one.
on it. Or, yeah, people work
That's
on it to get rid of it. People do work on it to get rid of it. And it's weird.
We have Bill Hader here from Barry.
It's like, I am going to pronunciate. Hi, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. No, I think that, yeah, it's a weird thing where, but I don't know, yeah, it's like.
I saw this cooking show recently, and this guy, he was doing something, this guy's traveling. He goes, Boston, you come here for a beer and a beating. And I just remember, I was looking at my wife, I go, oh, you go to look at the foliage. It's just like, how many times did you watch Good Will Hunting before you went there to steam your asparagus that you felt you had to go that hard? It's like, there's also MIT, there's Harvard. Tasty pudding or hasty pudding. There's a lot of you could go get some oysters. Beer and a beating. It's like, all right. I lived there for 27 years. I never took a beating. I walked away from fights and I was fine with it. Hey, you're tougher than me. Your dad was angrier than my dad. You win. I'm out of here.
Steam your asparagus.
Yeah, with your little poached egg on top of it. I hate the Food Network now. They used to just have people there cooking, and they teach you how to cook, and then it became you had to have a personality. And I respect his cooking, but I blame that Emerald Lagasse. He's the guy. I'm gonna put some sugar, bam.
Yeah, right.
And he had a studio audience and a band.
I used to be the assistant editor on a lot of those shows, on like Iron Chef America. I was the assistant
I don't
editor.
get that show. Cooking is supposed to be a relaxing, loving thing that you do, and they take it's like
sudden death.
You got to make waffles. We got stones and and carpet. How the f am I going to do this?
How the fuck am I? Mario, let's see what you got. And like, we used to have a thing of Bobby Flay electrocuting himself. He accidentally electrocuted himself. It was really funny.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, they cut it from the thing, but he grabbed a ladle and something happened, and he just went and just dropped out of frame.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But we had a thing of him.
Did his heart stop?
I don't know, but he dropped and then kind of came up in a daze, and we were.
He always seemed like he had indigestion to me, because he would always be like, "Okay, today we're gonna make." It's just like, dude, go off camera and burp, because I liked him. I like all of those guys. They all taught me what little I know. But like I used to watch Molto Mario all the time, which to me was the perfect one. It's like he went over his house and he cooked for you.
Yeah, it was like being his friend.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it just became like that guy yelling on Iron Chef.
Yeah.
Or the Diners, Drive-In, and Dives guy.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because, like, he just looks so burnt out on that show.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Guy
Fieri. He just says what you're doing. Like, you can make, like, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, so you're putting some peanut butter in the bread. And you get some jam in there that's going to take a little edge off the peanut butter.
And he makes so much money.
God
that guy
bless him.
that guy makes so much money. Oh my God.
He needs to get the hard top because he's going to
Yeah.
die of skin cancer. The guy looks like a lobster. This is coming from a redhead. I'm telling you, he's got to get some sunblock. So what can we talk about the everybody, because this is a podcast. It's not like people are dipping in here.
Yeah.
People know that the show is on. So they HBO, is there HBOstreaming.net org?
Yeah, I mean, you go to like, Amazon or Hulu or HBO Go is the thing.
HBO Go, that's
HBO
what it
Go.
is.
Yeah, it's great.
What
That's
would
how
be
a lot
best
of
for
people
you?
watch it.
Where should they watch it?
Wherever they want. I don't
Oh,
care.
okay, I wasn't sure.
don't care. But
Because I remember when
mean,
Louis had his show on FX, it would be like, can you please watch it so I get credit for people like watching the advertising? Because everybody
I
would
see.
then
I don't
they
know
would
about
record it and then fast forward it. I don't know.
that. I know. Yeah, to me, it's just. Yeah, just watch. I hope you watch the show. HBO has been amazing to work with. The fact that we could go in and pitch this show to them, and we're pitching a half-hour comedy, and the two movies I mentioned are Taxi Driver and Unforgiven. And it's
Now
like,
how do they react to, like, you coming in and think, okay, it's Bill Hader, this is going to be funny.
Exactly.
And
they
then you
thought
come
it was
in.
going. Yeah, I come in with this, and they go. And to their credit, they were really excited about it. It actually made them more excited.
How many places did you pitch this show?
Well, it was just HBO because I had a
okay.
deal with them, and so I had this kind of development deal with them, and I was shooting Trainwreck actually, and the whole time I was on Trainwreck going, what am I gonna do? I have this deal now with HBO, but I got to write a show, and so I met with Alec Berg, and then we came up with this, and then I remember pitching it to them and thinking, well, if they don't like it, they don't like it, but this is what I would rather want to do. If I could do anything, it'd be this. And the fact that they were the ones going, I said, the violence has to be very real. It's not funny. The violence is not funny at all. When he fights people, I like it to feel real. I don't want it to be cool, And they
or absurd.
Yeah, like Weekend at Bernie's jokes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, which you could easily do in this. There's a lot of times where there's a scene in episode 3 where I, have to strangle a guy, and there's in his backyard, there's all these kid toys and stuff. And I remember Alec Berg and I were shooting that scene, and I said, any other place, they would be like, hey, can we make it funny? Can you kill him with the kid's jump rope? Or, can we get some jokes in there? Or, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, it's not.
I feel like the murder is going to be too depressing.
Yeah. So
it's like it should be.
No, but he should kill him. He should still kill him, but just funny, and you're like, no. But we can't do that.
I've said this before in the podcast. That's why I could never really watch. I watched Dexter because I liked the performances, but I couldn't fully commit to it because I could just hear the industry note. Whereas,
really?
like, they went, he's a serial killer. And it's just like, well, how can we root for that? And it's just like, all right, he just kills the bad people. He's the serial killer with a good heart. And then I just never was able.
Well, that's the hard thing. That's been the nice thing with Barry, at least, is HBO, when we would turn in the drafts, when we get to later in the season, especially, it starts to get, Barry definitely is not just killing the good people, bad people. He's killing.
I gotta go home and I gotta see.
It gets terrible, and where he ends up going is pretty rough. But that was always just being honest to that guy. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that HBO has been great about, is that we'll say, hey, is this too much? And they go, well, what else is he gonna do? They see it from the character standpoint. They're like, well, what's his choice?
Well, I saw the 2 episodes, and I actually felt for the guy as far as like how he became. That's another thing. Like he's just not like, he just was born a psycho. It's like, no, this guy went to Afghanistan. I can say this without Afghanistan, did what he did over there, and then got into this line of work where he's a hitman. Yeah, and he basically wants to get out of it, and just Henry Winkler's characters with like the acting class. I mean, I took a bunch of acting classes. I had a lot of great.
You did?
Oh, I had I had some great acting teachers, and I had, but there was some, when they became like the guru, and I can't remember this woman's name, and I only audited her class. I audited 2 class. I remember one class I audited. It turned out it was Scientology.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was hilarious. I went in there. This actor who was in Scientology goes, "Oh, you need an acting class?" And she sent me there, and it was acting class, but it was also like Scientology, so which I felt like she should have said.
Right, that should have been. It's acting, but there's a little extra thing.
So I go there, and I remember we were sitting there, and the guy teaching the class goes, "Does anybody have any news they want to share with the class?" And someone would raise their hand and be like, "Oh, I just booked a 3-episode arc on Who Gives a ABC," and then the whole audience, like ridiculously loud, would go, "Whoa, whoa," like this positive, and like, but it was crazy
very
hot,
cultish,
and I was sitting there like, what the, right? So like 5 people did that, and then they go, "Hey, we have 2 people auditing the class. This guy, he's just fresh here from New York. He's an actor. He's trying to get some parts. Blah 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 blah. Please welcome Bill Burr." And they clapped like I won a Lifetime Achievement Award. I remember my face turned red. I was embarrassed. So and then I saw the scenes, and the actors were good and everything. And then during the break, like I remember the teacher was looking at me and goes, "Was that too much? Was that too much?"
Did I push? Was I pushing? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So then I went in. And I sat down with them, and they just kept saying everything was their own. We have our own parking, we have our own security, we have our own this. And I swear to God, I said, "Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm joining a cult." Like I was trying to make a joke, and he kind of looked at me, and his eyes were like going from my right eye to my left eye. And I was just like, "What's going on?" So I got out of there, and then I went down to this I swear to God, this is true. Went down to the comedy club, and I said, "Yeah, I took this acting class." The actors were really good, but it was just weird vibe. And then I told him like the name of the acting class. This guy goes, "Dude, that's Scientology." And I don't know, I kind of felt like the next time I saw that person, I had that vibe like they put something in my drink.
Right.
Like you should have said. I don't listen, because here's the thing, like I don't judge, like I hate when people act like, "Oh my God, those people are out of their minds." It's
right.
like, my religion is out of their minds.
Yeah.
It's just they got enough people
Right.
where they can act cool now, and they don't
Right.
care if you leave. Like Scientology needs people,
Yeah.
so they got to they got to lock you in a room or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that
but
they
you need
do,
to
right?
say this is where you're going. You need to say, like, by the way, you're going
Yeah.
to a church.
I like how they have their own network now to
Oh,
combat,
yeah.
because that one woman did like the
Lena
Yeah.
Remney or whatever.
yeah,
her
she
thing.
did all those episodes about how like crazy that was. But I always feel like there's another actor that could do the one about the Catholic Church,
Yeah, they could
about
do
them,
anything.
yeah, banging kids. And they made it seem like it was okay, and that was the thing, and you bought into it. We're getting off track here.
No, man, it's great.
What I'm trying to do is, I just don't want to sit here and ask you about SNL and all of that shit that I know you've answered a zillion
That's
times.
all right. No, I'm loving this. No, that's every thing I go to is like, so where's Stefan from or whatever, So
How did you come up with that? And
how did you come up with? So,
I will tell you, my favorite thing I ever saw you do was laughing uncontrollably while it was the locker room thing.
Oh, Forte
Yeah,
started
Will
dancing.
Forte. Yeah.
Oh my
Paul
God.
Verzi told me about that. You literally have the towel.
I have a towel wrapped around my face.
Over your face.
Because you know why? Because Forte did this dance, and he did it at the table read on Wednesday, and I just said, I can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to make it through that. That's too funny.
Right.
Because he's a coach trying to get us all riled up to go back into the second half
Yeah.
of the game. And to get us riled up, he does this dance to this Herb Albert song. Like, and he does this dance, and then so yeah, then I go. So before we went on air, I go, "Hey, Will, can you just do it for me a couple of times, just in my dressing room? Can you just do it so I can like laugh and get it out?"
That's great. You're such a pro.
Could I just get it out? So he did it, but then on air he added a move.
Of course he did.
Just he added this thing where he went like that, like he couldn't hear me, and And I lost it. I just completely lost it. And I started going, and then I remember Sudeikis was next to me and went, oh no. Because I started going, and then Kenan Thompson started going. Because it was
Peyton Manning pretty much.
Peyton Manning lost it. Peyton Manning.
I thought he kept a straight face.
Oh, no. He starts to put a towel around his face.
He did.
He gets, because I completely lost it. Because it also was it was such a Forte thing. Forte he's not like, he's one of those guys hey man, just very cool, chill guy. And then he would do these ideas or something would happen to him and you go, where's that from?
Yeah, he's incredible.
He would make me laugh.
That whole period, all of those, like you were, and you're one of those guys. Like that was
thank you.
That was like Murderer's Row.
He pitched. He goes, I'm Bill. I'm going out with a movie, and I go, oh, what's the movie you're doing? He goes, I want to do a movie about two brothers who switch bodies. And I go, yeah. And he goes, here's the thing, they're identical twins. So it doesn't matter. And I go, okay. And I go, how do people know that they switch bodies? He goes, well, that's the joke, is everyone acts like, well, you're acting differently. That's not like you, but they're just acting. They're these two boring guys. And he could somehow,
that guy's so talented, he would somehow sustain that for 90 minutes.
Figure that out. And I was like, he told me that, and I laughed. I just went, where the hell did you come up with that? And you go, no, I'm going to write this movie about these two guys. So, yeah, he's just a genius. And a great guy too. But yeah, I felt very lucky when I was there with all those people, Kristen and Andy and Fred Armisen and all those guys. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, and you guys have all gone on to do stuff. So right now, are you? When do you start back up with the next season, or do you get?
We're writing it right now. We're writing season 2 right now.
Oh God, did you get any of how much of a break did you get?
We got a bit of a break. Yeah, I mean, we finished all this in August. So Barry was done in August. So
okay.
Then it starts airing, and then we open up a writer's room, and then HBO told us yeah, you guys can do more.
And it's going to be another 8?
Mm-hmm. As of right now, who knows? We might change that, but as of right now, it's 8. I kind of like that. I like being able to craft 8 episodes and kind of make it a very kind of a tight season, and with a good story.
Yeah, it's like back in the day when there was a great album. A lot of times it was 8 songs.
Yeah.
But then when the 10 song came out, it's like, all right, here's the ballad. You're just trying to fill it. I get it. But
it's the same thing with TV in a way, where you go, oh, now we're going to watch an episode that's all about, the gardener or something, and you go, I don't care about this, I want to know what the hell's going on with that. I want to know what else is.
I know.
I'm
too jaded that I don't consider that groundbreaking. I'm just like, yeah, you guys wanted an episode off. I think the series regulars are about their contract.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that guy, but we got to keep the train moving.
All right, so let's do something about that guy.
That guy, yeah. Guess what? You're starring in the show this week.
Guess what, asshole?
Yeah. You're carrying the show. And if it goes down, you never play a gardener in this town again, you piece of shit. Well, anyways, thank you so much for came out. It's like, all right, here's the ballad. You're just trying to fill it. I get it. But
it's the same thing with TV in a way, where you go, oh, now we're going to watch an episode that's all about, the gardener or something, and you go, I don't care about this, I want to know what the hell's going on with that. I want to know what else is.
I know. I'm too jaded that I don't consider that groundbreaking. I just wanted an episode off. I think the series regulars are about their contract.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that guy, but we got to keep the train moving.
All right, so let's do something about that guy.
That guy, yeah. Guess what? You're starring in the show this week.
Guess what, asshole?
Yeah. You're carrying the show. And if it goes down, you never play a gardener in this town again, you piece of shit. Well, anyways, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh man, this was odd. I feel like my head hurts. I'm laughing so much.
Good.
But no, it's great.
That's all my interviews want to be.
Oh, good.
I don't want anybody to learn anything about you. I just want to give you a break from the same 20 questions. But I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you, buddy. That means a lot.
You've already done so much brilliant work, and the fact that HBO. Shout out to them for being so cool to let a comedic actor. I don't know how to define what it is. a sketch. I don't know I just know comedian. What do you?
I don't
what do
know.
they label you as?
I don't know, like sketch actor.
Okay,
yeah,
the fact that
comedy,
you come
yeah.
out of SNL and they let you do something like that is
yeah, and
pretty
to
awesome.
write it and direct. I never directed before, and they let me direct stuff. And I mean, I directed the first 3 episodes and to write and all that. And so, yeah, just to be able to have so much faith in.
I mean, look,
me,
Eddie,
it's crazy.
going back to Eddie Murphy, 48 Hours. That is
Yeah.
the acting that he does in that. He's so goddamn funny, but when it has to be real, he's incredible. And then what was the one he got nominated for the
Dreamgirls.
Dreamgirls? Yeah, for the life of me, I don't understand why he doesn't get more stuff.
No,
like that.
I will say that but that 48 Hours scene when he goes into the redneck bar and the cowboy is one of the few scenes in movie history where you're like, that's a movie star has just been born.
Yeah.
Where with one scene, it's very rare where you can go, like John Wayne in Stagecoach. They always say they push in on him. His first shot in Stagecoach, and everybody went, "Wow,
who the
who's
hell's
that
that
guy?"
guy? Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy in that scene, I remember I didn't see it, but my dad seen that movie and coming back and going, there's this guy in the movies, the new guy in SNL. It is like one of the funniest things. He's phenomenal. You got to see,
Yeah. You know what else about that
amazing.
movie is? That is the best gun sounds.
Oh, yeah. Walter Hill's movies always have like this cannon.
Unbelievable.
Sounds. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And you
Yeah.
know something? I actually got to do an acting gig where I played so bad with the name. Jason, he played Mike on Breaking Bad.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Jason, he's great. And
I got to talk to him about being on 48 Hours.
Wow.
He's like, God damn it, Jack, don't you do it. Don't you do it. And he goes, he gives him the gun. And then he also got thrown over the buffet table in Beverly Hills Cop.
And he has one of my favorite lines in Airplane.
Oh, he was in Airplane?
Yeah, he goes, the guy just went from 500,000 feet to 20,000 feet. What an asshole. He's the guy in the radar watching, like, yeah, this guy.
I got to see that again.
Yeah, they cut away to him. He's like, he just went from, 25,000 feet to 7,000 feet. What an asshole.
I remember that line.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
didn't remember that it was him.
Yeah, he's also the guy. They go, "How we doing?" And he opens up like a turkey, and then he's like, "Oh, we're almost done. We're almost finished here, sir." And it's like so just dumb, but he's great. I mean, that's one of the best. Yeah, that's the best movies. But yeah, no, the gun sounds in 48 Hours. All those Walter Hill movies, he always had like a really cool sound design in his movies. He's great.
Yeah, the whole thing. I actually one time, this is like the epilogue of the podcast. At this point, I was on a subway. And the actor that played Luther, was, the guy from Warriors, he was sitting like right across from me. He looked great. I mean, it's like maybe 20 years ago I saw him.
Wow.
And one of my just the way he delivered that line, when Nick Nolte's beating him up with the door, and he goes, says something like, "Well, I think you're lying," and the line is, "Yeah, well, who gives a you think?" And he doesn't yell to the word. He just goes, "Yeah, well, who gives up what you think?" Like, why would you yell at who gives what you think? Or who gives up what you the way he did that. That was like a catchphrase in my family.
Yeah, who gives up? Yeah, he has such weird rhythms, that guy. All the Warriors, too. I mean, like, he's such a, he has such cool way of speaking. You're like, yeah.
Well, you can learn a lot from that guy, and people are going to learn a lot from you watching
thanks,
this Sunday's episode, or go on HBO Go to check it out. Barry, starring Bill Hader.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, actually, if I wasn't in this business, what I would start selling is I would sell houses to divorced men, and this is what they would be. It'd be a 1 or 2 car garage, depending on how you did in the divorce.
Right.
And then up top would just be this sick-ass place, perfect for, like, flat-screen TV to the couch, and then behind that is, like, your bed, and then there's a little bar area.
Yeah.
You know, depending, you could, like, it was a big enough, like a mini loft above it. And, because every guy before they got married, that's what they had.
Right.
You had that apartment.
Yeah, I did, actually. I remember my apartment before.
Yeah, your Xbox.
Yep.
You had your bottles of booze. And you were fine.
Well, the thing about the bottles of booze, to be fair, you're
an alcoholic, right?
Right, so I can either have
You can't
booze.
handle it.
No, I can't.
They pulled you out of the game.
Well, here's the thing. I can
I'm
either
still
have
playing.
booze or an apartment. I can't have booze.
Oh, okay.
I can either have...
Whatever you're into. Your vitamin waters.
Yeah, coconut water, vitamins, vegetables.
Sure.
I
I am a big believer on having your own little house next to the big one that
No,
she
it's good.
gets.
I like this. I wasn't going to do a daily show again. I felt like I'd covered that ground.
And she doesn't have keys to it.
Yes,
That's it.
Yeah, she does.
I know she does.
Yeah,
and
she
no matter
does.
what,
Yeah.
no matter how big that house is on the hill,
Yeah.
no matter how many pairs of shoes, how much fun she's having, at some point she has to come down and stick her head in here.
I
don't know why.
I didn't know you knew her.
I don't know why. You could be, honey, this thing is 90,000 square feet. I have 1,500. This is a studio, and they would have to come
Yeah,
down
that's right.
to see what it is.
Yeah, what's going
It's what
on.
makes them great mothers.
Yeah.
It's what makes them so, like, drives you nuts.
What's going on? I just thought, come down and say hi.
What are you doing down here?
What's going on here?
So, like, what? You're gonna have your vitamin waters and your coconut?
I'm just sitting here. I'm just having a good time. What's wrong? I'm not doing anything. There's no girls here. What's going on?
You don't want me to come down?
Yeah, I'm just watching some sports. I don't even watch sports, but I'm just watching sports.
Hey, I like sports.
Well, come on in. I'm just watching.
It's over. It's over. Then she's there,
Yeah.
and then she's gonna start leaving shit behind,
Yeah.
like she did before you.
Right before when you
That's
had
it.
your apartment.
Stake
Yeah.
your claim.
How long you been married?
3.5 years. But I've been with my wife for a long
Yeah,
time.
you guys been together a long time, though, right?
Yeah.
Did it change?
We
though,
were the
when you-
number 2 couple in L.A. for the longest time.
Really?
According to Sirius, yeah.
Now you're just saying that.
No,
Now,
no,
you
that's
can't
true.
prove that. So, did it change your relationship though when you get married? Did it make it? Because you
I quietly freaked out.
did you really?
Because the finality of it, even if you have a prenup, even if you have any of that BS, they trample that in court.
Sure.
They don't care. You got to down, shut up. This is how it's going. That's how it works, right? So there was that moment. But then what I had to do was I had to mentally go back to that guy that was in the 1,500 square foot apartment that was fine and was happy. And I started looking around. I used to do a bit about this, how I just mentally let go of everything in my house. I really started looking at it. I started in the kitchen. I was going through the drawers. I was just muttering to
So you
myself.
did like an emotional prenup for yourself?
I just was like, "Well, you want all these whisks? I don't give a shit about this. I'll stir my eggs up with a fork. I don't give a."
I don't know that I owned any kind of kitchen implement other than, a can opener until I was married. Like, I didn't have, machines to mix food into paste with other bits of food.
I wasn't that guy. That's why I only had roommates for a short period of time. That whole thing of guys living like animals.
No, I didn't live like an animal. but
Oh yeah, you did. You did.
Why are you doing this to me, Bill? Why?
No, I was just like, it got to the point of like, obviously when I first moved out, I did the whole thing. It's a chair. Now it's a table, and everything was like interchangeable and, being afraid to order food and take a cab was a big, big luxury and all that type of stuff. And then as I started to get a little, money in the business, I made sure that, even if I had, I was living in New York, so you're only going to be so comfortable. I just made sure that like the kitchen was a big thing for me where I was just like, I want to be able to, if I want to make a nice meal, I would like to every once in a while be able to do that.
Do you do that still?
Yeah.
Well, you actually cook?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I got a good
Chop
butcher.
up the vegetables. You get a nice bit of meat there.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get a-
That's right. I'm a big potatoes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No.
All right.
That might be the funniest thing that's going to be said on this, so you might want to wrap that up. That's hilarious.
All right.
I'm a big, and I paused perfectly, lobbed it over.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back.
That's going to be the favorite part of this podcast for my wife to listen to.
Welcome back to the show. I'm just at the times at the moment. It is 2 minutes past 4 in Los Angeles, 2 minutes past 6 in Chicago. It is 2 minutes past 7 in New York City, and it is 2 minutes past midnight in the beautiful town of Bill?
Glasgow.
Glasgow, Scotland. You ever played there?
Sure.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've been there a number of times.
Where did you play in Glasgow?
The King's Theatre.
Yeah, I've done that theater.
Yeah,
That's
did that
all right,
one,
yeah.
and I've been there like twice, and then one time I went to Edinburgh for the
festival?
For the festival,
Did you
but
ever-
I was only there for 2-3 days. 2-3 days. I didn't have to do the marathon, walking the street with the sandwich board, the slave labor.
Yeah,
I don't know what goes on over there.
That's
but
for the kids. The kids do that.
Oh, the
That's-
kids do. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
I
when you're
didn't see a
starting
lot
out.
of happy faces. Everybody didn't have their red noses on,
That's a different thing.
making people walk in the streets like that.
Well, people do walk in
They're
the streets.
comedians. They're supposed to have the day off.
You know, that's when comedians become comedians, when they're out there
That's right.
leafleting, catfishing.
Sitting there, what are they supposed to do? They got to be a comedian and the promoter?
Yeah,
What kind of operation are we running over there, huh?
well,
I blame you. I think you set up the whole
why are you
festival.
starting this again, Bill?
I
With
just-
that, you
I don't
see,
know.
you Hollywood elite.
You know what it is? You became the number 2 radio program on Sirius, and it went to your head.
It did.
That's what
it
happened.
did. And you know what? That's just, I've become one of those guys. I don't do my own leafleting.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't leaflet anymore.
I never met you before, and I don't even know who you are anymore.
So, what's your, do you ever
There's no
play-
reason to reach. If you don't have any more questions
No,
for
I
me,
don't.
just-
I do have one. I do have.
So, you ever rake some leaves in the fall?
Did you ever rake leaves?
I did. I had business.
Well, you're from New England.
Yeah.
That's probably a big
Of course
thing
we
for you
did.
guys.
Of course we did. You raped them onto a top.
Rake leaving.
Yeah,
Rake
and then you
leaving
threw it over
time.
your neighbor's yard that you didn't like.
Do you
over
ever
their
play?
fence.
Do you ever play the Comedy Works in Denver?
Of course.
That to me is the best club in America.
You know the one that I love the best?
What?
That recently closed was the Punchline in Atlanta. It's now reopened, but they lost the lease to their first place.
I don't know that one. I never played that one.
Because you're an elitist.
Come on. I mean,
Comedy Works is beautiful. They had
Yeah.
all the green room, you know. They got the
Yeah.
place where you can soak your feet. You weren't going to the Punchline in Atlanta.
wait, the soak your feet part.
You
I
didn't
don't
have
remember.
that?
No, they don't let me
You're
do
still
that.
an immigrant. We don't like you. No, the Punchline, it was just one of those places that I went on stage and it just, I don't know, it just felt right. Like I love the vibe of that. So I haven't been to the new one, but I love the owners. So, I'm going to try to get back to there at some point. But, I was definitely really sad when that thing closed down. I mean, that was one of the ones that went all the way back to like even Eddie Murphy, I guess, had did I guess he was already shooting movies at that time. Early in his career, came in and did a spot there. They had a picture of him on stage. And then they had all of these headshots from back in the day.
I love
these,
all that stuff.
Yeah,
And the chicken fingers coming out towards the end of or the bill comes out at the end of your set.
Yeah.
Chicken fingers at the beginning of your set. That smell of fried food and
Yep.
hatred in the air. Makes
Plus,
me feel
the
like
best
I'm at
thing
home.
ever is my favorite comedy clubs are the ones like the Comedy Works, where you can get to the green room and they give you the option of whether you want to deal with the crowd or not. That's
Yeah.
the greatest thing ever, to be able to walk off and you're right in the green room. You know, if no one wants to kill you, you can go out there and say hello to them.
Yeah,
If you
that's
feel
right.
like you might get your teeth smashed in, you can hide in the
You
green
can hide
room.
in the green. The only trouble
Yeah, I
in-
love
in-
that.
In Comedy Works, everybody that goes to that club knows exactly where the green room is. They're walking out by it as they go out. So get people back and they're going, "What's the matter? Not coming
Oh,
out?
that's right.
Think you're better than us?
That's the
We know
hallway.
you're in there, Hollywood.
Yeah, that's right. I
You
forgot.
Hollywood elitist." Like, wait, if I'm a Hollywood elitist, what am I doing? Playing, the Works in Denver. It's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a short-lived comedy club in New York City called Comics that was like that. I don't know if you ever did that one. It was
think
right,
I might have,
Yeah, it was down
actually.
near the meatpacking district.
Yeah.
It's since changed, but I think comedians had I don't know, somebody, but it was perfect. It was perfect. You got upstage. If you went right, you talked to the crowd. If you went left, you went down this hallway, and like there was no way. I guess people could run through the curtain and there's never any security, but they didn't know to do that. They didn't know where they were going.
What about Cobb's in San Francisco? You like that one? I quite like
Yes.
that because you go out the center, like the doors at the back of the stage, and you just walk right out the
Yep.
center of it, and you're right there. It's like the way I
I like the
imagine-
Punchline a little better than that one.
Okay.
Because that was just one of the ones that that was like a legend. I never really heard of Cobb, so that was one of the ones I want to say I saw it on TV.
Right.
When I used to see all those great San Francisco comics like Dana Carvey and Dana Gould and all those Danas that came out of there.
Mostly Danas.
Mostly Danas. All geniuses, all named Dana. And, that was a big competition. That was a big thing for me when I was coming up, the San Francisco comedy competition. Like, if you see like the winners and the runners up, I'm sure that information's somewhere on the internet. It's a lot of people went on to do a lot of great things.
Well, these comedy competitions, I have always kind of been slightly dubious of a comedy competition, though.
You don't have any confidence.
You
You can't get up there and just do your jokes better than other people.
No, I can't. I feel like it's not the right way to go about it.
All you have to do is be louder than someone else.
Oh, I can do
and
that.
Flap your hands around. You're guaranteed to make the final. I built a whole career on that.
That was 10 years of late night for me. Aye, cheeky monkeys.
Yeah.
Flop the hands off you go. That's it.
There you go.
I wouldn't do it.
I like how Bill's big concern about the comedy club, though, is not a place where you won't get beat up after most shows.
Yeah. Do you ever have a hard time with a
Sure.
crowd, Bill?
Yes.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Is there any record of that?
Yeah, and when the microphone's in your hand, you forget you don't know how to fight that well. Forget about take on 4 people at the same time. And then the second you put it in the stand, you become mortal again, like, oh, wait a minute. I haven't had a fight since junior high.
One of my first gigs, I actually got into a fight with a guy. Like, a guy rushed the stage, and I hit him, and he fell.
You
And
started in Scotland.
Yeah, I know. That's what that kind of thing happens in Scotland.
Yeah.
So he runs, I hit him, he falls down, his friends are mad at me, I go back, and I don't know at this point that you can't continue the act once the fight has broken out with a member of the audience. I don't think anyone can win an audience back once you've assaulted one of them. I don't think it can
I've
be
seen
done.
it.
Oh, come on.
I've seen it.
Who did it?
Oh, what was his name?
Dave Attell? I don't believe you.
No. What was his name? It was a long time ago, and somebody came up on stage, and he knocked him out, and the guy, just literally hit him, and the guy just chin straight down and just sat down, and just like a scarecrow, like someone took the piece of wood out from behind him.
Oh, man.
And he's like, some people want to watch the show, some people want to become part of the show. And then he continued to do the show. What was his name? And the crowd went,
God, that's impressive.
That is
the
really
guy was sitting there. What the hell was his name? I think it was, I don't want to get him in trouble.
Right.
I think it was this comic Scruncho.
Scruncho?
Yeah.
Was he a clown?
At one point he did do like backflips and all that type of stuff. And
Oh, really?
I'm telling you, this guy, I shouldn't.
No, let's not say in case he gets into trouble.
I don't know. This was years and years and years ago.
Okay, Scruncho the clown.
I want to say it was him. No, he was jacked and he was a good dude and he knew how to fight. And this guy came up on stage and I want to say it was him. It was so long ago. How do you forget that? How are you that old? Did you forget?
You get other things in your mind. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're too hard on yourself, pal.
Right.
You're too hard on yourself, and you're much too hard on me. I always think that about Rogan. Like,
What's
if you
that?
watch Rogan, like, Rogan clearly knows how to fight, and he's jacked, and he's very funny. But if I'm a heckler, I'm thinking, I'm going to let it go, because this guy could kill me.
Oh, no. If you ever see his spinning back heel kick, that alone.
Yeah,
You would be, it'd be liquids only for a long time. Drooling out one side of your mouth. It would be a wrap. You would not be the same person.
I'm 55. I can't fight anymore. If I get hit now, I'd have to just start my shell collecting business. Right. I can't do it anymore. Did you ever get into all that when you were younger? Were you a scrapper?
Up until like junior high, but then everybody else hit their growth spurt and I didn't. So then I took a couple of beatdowns and then that's when I started to do more be like trying to be funny.
Yeah, more comedy.
But I wasn't, just once kids got to a certain height and there was just blood and teeth and it was just like.
It changes, right?
I remember this kid, like he couldn't go to school for a week and he came back and his face was still swollen. I was just like, yeah, I don't want to be involved in that. Like, I don't care how much you insult me. I can get past that.
So, that was like that early you thought I want to be in comedy?
No, I was just, I don't want people to beat the shit out of me. Right. So I was just more trying to come out of my shell. I gotta be honest with you. Like, you gotta be cut out to really be like a fighter. Like, I would fight, but it's not something I wanted to do. Like, I
Right.
knew guys that went out, wanted to fight.
Yeah, they kind of enjoy
Let's
it.
go out,
I know. Yeah,
let's go out
I
and
know.
get into a fight. And it's just like they're just wired. So knowing that those people are out there, you know what I mean? It was just, I just remember the first when I saw that kid, he threw the kid down, jumped on his chest, and just started punching him repeatedly in the face, both hands. And, it stuck with me. It was one of the most violent things I had ever seen at that point in my life because there was no internet and that type of stuff.
Right.
And hearing the sound of his fist beating this kid's face, and I just remember thinking like, wow, you know, as much as my older brother beats the shit out of me, there's a line he's not going to cross because dad's coming home.
Right.
And now when you get out here, it's now like dad's sort of the ref, or your mother's going to break it up. There was
Right.
just like, this doesn't exist out here. And, I knew that I was not going to fare well. I just knew it. I was just like, I'm going to do okay in a couple, and then I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I think I'm all set on that.
It didn't sing to me. Did you wanted to be a rock star then? Was that your thing?
I don't know what I wanted. I was just
Just wanted out?
I don't know what I was. I was just trying to avoid humiliation. Is pretty much what that was my. I was
So
just,
stand-up comedy.
I was yeah, I don't know. Yeah, figure that one out. I was just basically literally baby stepping my way through my entire like school existence after a while, where I was just like, I just wanted to, I wanted to be there, but nobody see me. I just wanted to be there. I didn't have to be the center of attention or whatever. I would crack jokes in class and stuff like that, but I was very introverted. Very introverted.
I'm always kind of fascinated by, like, have you ever been in therapy?
Yeah,
You
I
take
did that. I did that, and then stopped, and then did it again, then haven't gone in a long time.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. But I did this, the whole idea of you think of your early days in stand-up and how...
Early days.
Well, if you think of your early
The
days...
great early days.
Back in the days when it was just me and 4 sheep. But you think your early days in it and how terrified. I remember being terrified, like physically shaking and not really being able to do it and failing at it and yet still going back and doing it again. I think, what the hell is wrong with a human being that you fail so badly at something and you go and do it again? And I've never encountered any stand-up that's any good who's not failed at it pretty badly early on.
Right. I never got like fearful. I was more nervous. Like I'd be so nervous that it would affect my performance and I would be going too fast and I'd be sweating, all this stuff when I started out. But I never had, I was afraid before I did it. And but once I called up and committed, you know, the first open mic, I'm going to do this.
Right.
Then it was just like, all right, I didn't even think I'm not backing out of this. It's like I signed up. I'm going to do it. So then it was more about just the somersaults and the butterflies and the you know, shaking of the hands. But it was nervousness. More so than like fear. Like fear was watching that kid get his face literally rearranged.
Right.
And that was fear. Like, oh God, like I it was like nauseating. But like the stand up was just like ridiculous nervousness.
I got that, and I remember thinking as well that I can't. I mean, when you get the first laugh, it kind of stays with you. I think there's something about when it works even a little bit, it's so kind of stays with you. I think there's something about when it works even a little bit, it's so addictive.
I couldn't believe I was in the world.
Yeah.
When once I started to get to know people, and then I was doing open mics, and I was like an open micer. I couldn't believe that, like, you know, taking that mic out of the mic stand was the coolest thing ever to me. Micer. I couldn't, because I had always loved comedians, but I didn't realize that was something that I wanted to do until I was, you know, for a long time. Because but that was I don't know, I always felt that. And then I remember one of my open micer friends got to the point where he quit his day job. I remember both of us just sitting there talking about it, and I was just like, dude, what's it like? Because I knew eventually I was going to be able to do it. It was just like,
yeah.
He's like, dude, I just woke up because he's still living at home with his parents. So
Right.
I just remember he's just like, man, I was just thinking like, I'm gonna have some toast. I never forget that. And I was just like, that's so like, and there was something about being a class clown and those people who were funny and everything. There was this freedom to it, and I just loved it with stand up. That there was this thing that you didn't have to have a day job. And that you could just go see. Seinfeld always talks about, hey, you want to go see a movie? It's like you're just playing hooky.
Yeah,
and you're just sitting watching all these poor bastards going to. I always have empathy for them because I had a job, and that has never. I bring that up like at least like at this my age now, probably once every 6 months. I'll be hanging with the comic in the middle of the day, and we go do something. Go smoke a cigar, go to see a movie or whatever. And
Yeah,
I just
no,
say,
it's
dude,
cool.
you realize it's 2:00 on a Wednesday right now.
That's the only thing
Like,
I can handle going seeing a movie.
How great is this?
Yeah, I know. It's great.
How f***ing great
It is.
for all of the crap and people trying to, run up on stage and all of that stuff. Like the payoff beyond, all the, you can sell out a theater. The biggest one is you can go to the movies at like 2 PM.
It is a great
on
gig.
a Wednesday.
It's a great gig. Do you ever experience nervousness now? You ever get it anymore?
I had nervousness this morning. I did a gig for the California Highway Patrol. They asked me to come down. They were giving out awards. They were honoring people that had passed away. It's the guys that ride the motorcycles, so
Right.
it's extremely dangerous. Forget about if you're trying to chase criminals too on them. So I was there, and I came walking in, and someone it was a big banquet hall. And I'm looking around, and it's couples, and there's a couple of kids there, and I'm just thinking, wait a minute, why did you book me? And I was like, any language restrictions? He's like, well, there are kids here, and then they started, after the national anthem, then they honored the police officers that passed. Everyone's doing a moment of silence. They played taps, and then the guys walked out with the flag, and then I was just sitting
And
there.
now some comedy.
No, they didn't do that to
Didn't
me.
do that. Okay.
It was the greatest gig. So then I was kind of like going like, okay, I've been doing it long enough. I was just like, all right. What am I opening with? The lesbian I saw walking into the restaurant that I've been opening with. I can't open with that now. I did ask. I go, can I do a bit about this lesbian? I said, nah. And he goes, now we got gay people. I can't, and we don't need a problem. I was like, all right. So I just sort of like, so I was kind of walking around just sort of thinking what I was going to do because he asked me if I wanted to sit at the table. I needed to walk around to think what I was going to do to get my energy up. And then he goes, are you nervous? And I laughed. I go, no, man. I just got to figure out how I'm going to navigate this. So they gave out some more awards. I mean, these are literally heroes. These guys putting their lives on the line. So then they bring me up, and as much as I was like, I don't know what's going to happen here, I definitely recorded. Like, I got to record this because if this goes off the rails, I got to play this for my wife. I would never upload it or anything like that, but I would play it for my wife. So I went on stage and I ended up having like the best time, and I enjoyed working clean. And I did a Hillary Clinton joke. It killed. I did this Trump thing. It got a little quieter. And I made fun of the fact that, like they wear blue ties. I was like, I thought you guys were liberals or whatever. I'm not saying that they all voted for Trump or whatever, but it ended up being like the challenge of it was like really cool. And then they were like the greatest guys. And I kept joking that the reason why I did it, I was like, you can't know enough cops. You can't know enough cops in the city that you live in. But they were, I did it. I was like, you can't know enough cops. They were this great audience. And, I don't know what I thought it was. I thought it was, they were this great, it's just going to be cops, and they were going to be half in the bag, hammered.
Yeah.
And it was going to be like a Knights of Columbus type of gig, but they were all dressed up. I forgot that they were honoring people and everything. So it was like the commissioner was there. So, it ended up being like this great gig, and I've since emailed and I was just like, anytime you want me to come down, like I really had a good time. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Dom Herrera was here last week, and he was talking about you. And he said an interesting
What did
thing.
he say to
No,
me
it was
to
good.
that
It was. You'll like this. You'll like.
cocksucker?
Actually, you won't like it because it's complimentary and it'll make you uncomfortable.
Pasta eating so and so.
But he said you were always. He said he was always good. He said Bill was always good. He's always a good comic. He said, but something's happened. And remember, he said this.
Yeah,
He said
dude.
the past couple of years, he's great. It's like something magical. I remember he used this
Started
phrase.
talking about my.
something magical.
That was
no,
the breakthrough.
No, it's the magical. You've always talked about.
No, but this is more the thinking man's. That's what I'm doing to set myself apart from the pack.
No, but it's an interesting thing because something has happened to you in the past couple of years. You're better than you've ever been.
Well, thank you.
Well,
Coming from another comedian, that's about as good as it gets.
yeah, and it's uncomfortable, and I appreciate
Not
that.
bombing in front of the cops was pretty cool
Yeah.
too. You know, I've had a great day here.
But what is there anything cognizant? Are you aware of anything changing?
What I did was I did. There was a few like weaknesses, versus the on-stage me versus the off-stage me. Stuff that I could do to get laughs off-stage that I couldn't do on stage. So I just decided to start working on those. The same way if you were playing basketball, if you couldn't go to your left, you start going to your left. You play with guys that are better than you, or if you're learning an instrument, you try to learn a new lick or a new riff or something like that, and just keep doing it. But like I am, once you start selling tickets, then it becomes the game within the game.
Right.
Like, then you just you put out a special. It just becomes like, okay, what can I do? Okay, I did that. What can I do in this next special that takes that and does it a little differently, or maybe hopefully progresses it to like another level, so I don't at the end of my career have like he did 10 specials at the exact same level, the exact same style. I mean, there's something to be said about that. There's certain bands like that, like AC/DC.
Sure.
One of the things I saw with them one time was hilarious. It's like this guy was trying to give him shit. He said some number. He said, like, you guys have put out 15 of the exact same album. And they were like, that's bullshit. We've put out 16 of the exact same album, whatever like that. So they just knew, you can have, like, what you work. But what you have, works, you can stick with it. But, like, it was something that I wanted to, I wanted to see how good I could get. And what I've learned is you're better than even if you push yourself.
Right.
So if you really start to push yourself and try to like just be aware off stage, if you're doing something that there's so much shit that you do off stage as a comedian just because you're not on stage and you're comfortable and you're also completely uncensored. Like there was stuff that I would do in the car with my wife. I just do like these one-way conversations where you couldn't hear the other person, but you knew what they were saying.
Right.
It was something that I saw, a lot of guys specifically Pryor doing.
Right.
And I'd be doing it in the car, and my wife would be dying laughing, and I would try to do it on stage. And the second it started going bad, I bailed.
Right.
And I did that for 10 years of trying to learn this new skill that I knew I could do because I'm doing it off stage. I couldn't, and I would bail after like 2 seconds. And then one day I just decided I'm staying with this and I'm bombing with this till I learn how to do it. And it was like within 10 days, I was like, 10 times better than, I was bailing after 2 seconds, but I'd already seen the growth. And then that just set off this whole thing of like, well, what about doing this? What about doing that? And then I kind of noticed, dude, you got like 2 different voices you do in your act. Why don't you try to expand on those? So I've had a couple more of those. And if you just, act out some stuff a little more, then what happens when you have those different skill sets, when you go to take on a subject, you then have different tools that you can sort of mix and match. It's like when you're in the kitchen, like,
yeah,
and you start getting.
You'll never let that go, man. Let it go, man.
I loved it though. It was endearing to me. I'm from the East Coast. That meant you liked me. But it's the same kind of thing.
Do you think that, because you said a word there which I think is really important. You said the word comfort. And when you were talking about, you started to experiment, you started to use things that you knew you could do, but you're a little scared to use.
Right.
Do you think that success, like when you start selling tickets as opposed to be, and now you're a headliner.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the club,
but first.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, when you're selling the tickets, when they're coming to see you, you've got permission a little bit from the audience. It's like, all right, I'm going to try. They're here to see me. They already like me.
Yeah, but that kind of haunts me.
Yeah?
Because I feel like I was a better comic when they didn't, because I had to get them. And I had a show I did recently. I just dropped in at the Improv, and Earthquake was headlining, and it was mainly a black crowd, and
Right.
most of them didn't know who I was.
Right.
So I had to prove myself, and it was the most fun set I've had this year. It was just like, remember this.
But is that were you
This was-
funnier, or was it just you enjoyed the difficulty more? I mean, I don't know if it makes you funnier because it's a harder show to do, or it's more.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either. But I will say that what I liked about it was that just that those years we just like so much of your stand-up career is just one impossible situation after another, and you're just standing there trying to do the math like how the. Am I going to get these people? We don't have a microphone. Is that going to be a problem?
Can you do 10 minutes while the band changes?
Yeah.
No, I can't. They're just going to take the instruments off and on the stage. No, that's not.
Oh
how
yeah,
it
and as
works.
you're doing it, they're coming in there tuning up. Done gigs in hallways.
Yeah.
Hallways, areas that met in a hallway, cafeterias at like 1 p.m.
Sure.
The college kids have no idea there's going to be a show, and they just go, "We have a comedian. His name's Bill Burr. Here he is." And then you just walk up there and have to do an hour. Just
Sure.
an hour
I know.
of humiliation. I would always say to myself, in an hour and 1 minute, this is going to be over. And I'm going to be in my car driving away. And that's what I would do. And the part that I hated was the waiting to go on.
Yeah, I still do.
Once you go on,
yeah.
it's the hourglass has been turned over.
Yeah.
The sand's starting to fall, and every second you're up there, whatever hit you take, that's one less one you got to take.
Yeah,
and
no, it's true.
I used to always call it my college agent afterwards, flipping out, going, "I'm done with these things. I'm never I don't give a shit." He'd be like, all right. And then he knew I needed the money. And then he'd call me up and he'd be like, "Billy, Scott Bass." That was my agent. "Scott Bass calling. I know you said you're not going to do this, but I do have a nooner. I'm going to build around it." And, by then I'd be at home. And I had cooled off. It was a couple weeks later from being on the road, and the rent was coming. I needed the money. And he would be like, "All right, it's going to pay $700. It's like the middle of Iowa for $700, all inclusive."
You give me some of that extra?
After taxes, yeah, that comes out to about $175. So I would literally go, "You motherfucker. All right, okay." But I have to be able to say whatever I'm going to. Absolutely. I go, are they going to know? They're going to know there's a show and all that stuff. So we gradually, got like some better gigs out of it. But I do want to getting back to that. What haunts me is the fact that I have noticed times where I can just sort of stop and smile, or I can laugh, and they're laughing because they know my laugh from the podcast, going,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's his laugh,"
Yeah.
and I'll get a laugh there, and I'm just kind of like, that's the kind of thing. I will be on stage going, "Am I getting soft now? Am I going to be that guy?"
You earn a little bit. Look, it's like, if you go and see a band and, they play a song that you like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, or if a guitar, like if Brian May's guitar sounds like Brian May's guitar always does, but it's a new song, that doesn't matter. He's earned that. It's his guitar sound. Or Steve Jones and the Pistols.
That's why I always hate when they say that. When they say he's become a parody of himself. It's like, how do you parody yourself?
That's bullshit. That's just people saying shit on their blog.
Yeah.
It's you don't become a parody of yourself. You just keep going.
Yeah, how can you rip off yourself?
It's not possible. It's not possible.
According to these blogs.
Well, I think that there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's an interesting thing that you look at. I mean, if you look at the internet, what it does with criticism, on the one hand, it's removed the power of critics. Cause, there used to be like a guy who gives you a bad review in the New York Times. He'd shut you down, man. No one would go. And now that doesn't really happen anymore. But now everyone is a critic. So people write scathing reviews, but nobody them. Except
that's
the
what
guy.
cracks me up when I go overseas and these critics always show up, and it's just like,
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, the show is already on sale and done.
Yeah.
And then secondly, everybody in the crowd now does your job.
Right.
So you're going to sit there. By the time yours comes out, I've already left town. So
It's such an old-fashioned thing. I know it's
Yeah.
such a weird thing. I remember I've had a couple of those, and they're usually even the good ones are a little snippy.
no,
it's like,
I have never. That's why I don't read them ever.
Yeah.
They have an inability to go wire to wire. They just can't say, "You know what? I enjoyed the show. He's worth the money.
Yeah.
Go down there." But I still wish he had touched more on this, or they always make fun of how I look, When the pasty, bald, freckled the stage, it was a masterful performance. Like, even if they said masterful performance, they would still have to trash the way you look.
Yeah, no, I get it too. It's like, using the Scottish brogue. I'm like, I'm not using Scottish brogue.
From there.
This is where I'm from. I didn't put this on. This isn't an act. The material's the material. I'm not doing a character. I'm doing me.
Oh, you've become a parody of yourself.
Oh, you, Bill. I mean, really. And with that, I am so glad you came in. Bill, it's lovely to finally meet you. You're a giant among men. And let me ask you this.
What's that?
If you were listening to a performance of a mystery on Audible, what do you think you'd feel?
Well, I think I would feel scared.
Exactly.
I would wonder who did it.
You'd feel mysterious things on your commute to work.
That would be great.
For example,
that wouldn't affect my
no, really. You're
to
going to see
drive
a
at all,
movie
right?
in the afternoon. It doesn't make any sense at all. You just stop trying to sell Audible to Bill Burr. It's not going to work.
No, yeah. So,
Yeah, I need inaudible.
Oh, okay.
No?
Things you'll feel as you listen to Audible, things like goosebumps or your pulse pounding or the rush of adrenaline. Because with a performance so powerful,
That's the head-on collision you're going to get into because you're paying attention to that rather than driving your car.
Also the thing is, I feel bad because some copywriter who's writing for Audible really worked hard on this to create an atmosphere, and we're just shitting all over it. It's just not fair.
But it's not our
Let's
atmosphere.
try it again.
Let's try to start over.
But you're acting like he's a good person just because he wrote that.
Yeah, he might be right.
There you go.
Let's assume he's all right, we'll get through it. You may not actually enjoy your commute, which is a mystery in itself. Rotten joke. The feeling is audible.
I just spit gum out.
Experience it for yourself with great mysteries like Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty, Black Echo by Michael
Train Spotting
by Irvin Welsh, or Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris.
The Marable Stalk Nightmares.
I think that was that?
That's the same guy. That's Irvin Welsh.
I thought you were doing a Pakistani accent. No, I was surprised by that.
Look, if you did a Boston accent, I might give you a little leeway.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even try.
Read the copy. It's great.
No, I will.
Scared wearing.
Get through this. Start a 30-day trial at audible.com, and your first one is free. With Audible, you get the largest audiobook performances,
like drug dealers,
the largest library, and the most exclusive content.
First taste is free.
First one's free. Yeah, you want to hear a book, buddy? You'll feel something, and the feeling is Audible. Learn more at audible.com. Thanks.